Almost all types of business have inventory, and with all the different types of inventory, when you start looking, you'll find it everywhere. But what are these types, and what does that look like in different types of organisation? Hi there, I'm Laurence Gartside, Management Trainer and Consultant in Business Operations, helping you and your team level up your business operations fundamentals. Cakes. Everyone likes cakes. So let's use that as our first example. A small cake baking business. It has raw materials, work in progress, finished goods inventory and service support inventory or maintenance, repair and operating inventory. But what would that look like? Well, the raw materials coming in might be the flour, butter, sugar. Then, as we start to work on it and turn it into work in progress, that would be batches of dough and icing and the cakes that are being cooked in the oven, work in progress. Finally, once they're finished and ready for sale, they become finished goods inventory, perhaps on display in the shop counter. Whereas the much less tasty maintenance, repair and operating inventory would be things like cleaning supplies, washing up liquid and sponges that get used in operations but hopefully not in the cakes. Now let's think of a more traditional example of proper industry, making cars. Their raw materials could be things like sheet metal, but also very complicated bought-in components like computer chips. As they're being assembled in the factory, it becomes work in progress. As the bits gradually get added to each other, the cars get painted, the wheels get put on, the seats get inserted. Work in progress. Until pop out finished cars, the finished goods inventory, onto the transporter ship across the world to market. It will also have lots of maintenance, repair and operating inventory, maybe engine oil, spare parts for the machines, light bulbs, batteries, gloves, and all the other bits and pieces that just get consumed continuously in the operations. What about something totally different? A software development company. Now they don't really have any raw materials, certainly not really of the physical kind. Perhaps you'd say things like electricity, but you don't keep that as inventory, so we can't really call that. But they do have work in progress. The jobs, the projects, the code that's partially written and in progress of being completed, because that will be sold to the customer. That partially completed code represents hundreds or thousands of hours of work, which after it's completed will become sold to a customer. Do they have finished goods inventory? Well, maybe you could say so if they've been keeping code waiting for it to be bought, but it's usually made to order, so I don't think we'd say so. Will they have some maintenance, repair and operating supplies? General office supplies, yes. Someone has to restock the ink and the paper for the printer, maybe buy milk for the coffee machine, but it's minimal. A supermarket is an example of a very different type of operations-intensive business. They don't really do or make anything with the inventory. They buy it in as finished goods inventory, and their job is distribution, logistics, sales and presentation, customer support. They own a lot of inventory, but it's all finished goods inventory. And finally, they might have some maintenance, repair and operating inventory, such as the fuel that goes in their trucks or light bulbs for the supermarket. Thinking of another example, how about a stone quarry, digging up stone out of the mountain? Does it have raw materials? Well, kind of yes, but it's in the mountain and that's not so relevant. They don't have to manage their raw materials too much. But then once it's dug out of the mountain and being processed, they have a lot of work in progress inventory. And once it's organised, sorted, maybe crushed or cut, ready for sale, it becomes finished goods inventory. And that becomes quite important. Now it's valuable, bulky, expensive to own and transport, so we need to get that out of our business and to market as fast as possible. Of course, as a real heavy industry, they will have lots of maintenance, repair and operating inventory for all of that machinery, trucks and factories that they have to run to process the stone. And for our final example, what about a hospital? Well, they have really two types of inventory manager. The inventory manager who manages the patients, who are the jobs, a type of inventory, and also the stuff. Let's think about the patients first as the jobs going through the hospital. The raw materials coming in are sick and injured patients. Once they're being treated throughout the process of the hospital, they are work in progress. And as soon as they're complete, they're told to leave. We definitely don't keep any finished goods inventory in a hospital. But there's also a lot of stuff inventory in a hospital that has to be managed in a kind of similar way. Raw materials coming in would be drugs and bandages, thousands of different types of medical consumable widgets, raw materials coming in. Work in progress, well, they're just in the process of being used with the patients. So once I don't know the medical terms, the pipes, the cannulas, the needles, the masks are with the patient, well, it's being used in the process of getting that inventory finished. And once it's finished, it doesn't become finished goods inventory, that stuff gets discarded. So a hospital's a fascinating place for an inventory manager thinking about the patients as inventory, which need intensive management through the system, and all of the consumable stuff as well. These different types of inventory, raw materials, work in progress, finished goods inventory, maintenance, repair and operating supplies, is just one of the ways that we can categorise inventory. But it can also be done by location or function or criticality and value. These are all topics that we go into more detail in my introductory course on inventory management, along with many others. So please come and have a look over on my website, rotenstraining.com. Alright then, that's enough from me. I hope you haven't started counting sheep. Unless you're a shepherd, and that's your inventory of choice.